Hello, hello, magical souls. Woo, we got some boobies out today. Welcome, 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 welcome. I swear these are not hanging out like that in real life. It's just a good camera. Welcome to the real life of Echo Summer Hill. Welcome to Hill to Hustle. Thank you for being a part of this beautiful group as we start to build and expand a community, continue expanding a community of magical women that realize that you don't have to kill yourself and sacrifice your sanity for success, happiness, and love. So, as always, we are going to cast a circle of light specifying that my core healing team, in conjunction with Source Creator God, be present for this beautiful transmission about the art of slowing down, along with your healing teams and your souls, so that you can absorb and resonate with the codes that are meant for you today. So, as always, we ask that our divine channels of communication be clear, including but not limited to our clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, claircognizant, psychic, telepathic, transmedium, kundalini, sexual, and tantra channels. We also ask that all four etheric bodies be taken up to the highest frequency available in this now moment, mental, emotional, spiritual, and of course this dense physical body, activating as much light to create the most alignment with the most human comfort, okay? We also ask that per each individual soul's guidance, that the chakra systems inside and outside of the body be repaired, realigned, or even replaced, so you can access more of those portals of power and those crystalline books of information. And as always, we give infinite gratitude to the one love, one light, Source Creator God, for all of us, and all of this is possible. Hello, Shauna. Thank you for being here. All right, whether you're watching the live or the replay, I'm going to make this as short and sweet and to the point as possible. So in the first video that I ever posted in here, I told my story and we talked about what hustle is, right? And so if you haven't watched that, be sure that you check that video out as well. But on this journey of healing the hustle, if you will, there is an aspect of the slowing down and the doing less that actually, usually, myself included, scares people. Because who are you? I'm freezing up a little bit, I'm seeing that. Who are you without the hustle? Who are you without the go, 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 do, do, do? Who are you without doing and being it all? Right? These are questions we ask ourselves. Like, okay, well, if I don't go balls to the walls, then what's going to happen to my life? What's going to happen to my relationships? What's going to happen to my business? And those are valid concerns and questions, because when you are functioning at a frequency of hustle, which is in lack, because you can never do enough, right? You can never be enough. You can never, all the things. There's these, how I see it is like there's these energetic grids, okay? And these energetic cords and these lines that are tied into all that you've created from that space of hustle. So it could be you've created and formed relationships as a part of hustle, over giving, people pleasing, go, 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 do, do, do for everyone else, right? So if you have set those kind of precedents in your relationships, then you can expect when you slow down, when you clean up the energy, when you come back to your truth, because you are tired of running around like a crazy person and feeling anxious and depressed and exhausted because you are just going and doing a lot all the time, and especially for other people, or for this perceived version of success, then you can almost guarantee that as you clean that energy up, which we're going to talk about, that your relationships are going to start to look differently. Because if you're used to, in relation, whether it be a spouse, whether it be your friends, whether it be your neighbor, if you're used to over giving in that hustle energy, that lack energy, like me energy, well, I've got to do for everybody else energy. How many of you relate to the over giving and the people pleasing? Yeah. So those relationships, you have to rewire. You have to disintegrate energetic cords. You have to set a new standard as you come back home to yourself. Your business. And I'm going to teach you some of my favorite ways to start cleaning up this energy and the art of slowing down. And I'm going to teach you one of my favorite practices for slowing down. But say with your business, you're used to functioning in hustle. What does hustle look like in business? Well, it looks like not a lot of divine masculine structure and strategy. So you're throwing a bunch of spaghetti at the wall. You don't really have a clear plan, a clear vision, but you go, a lot of busy work, do. I'm going to post this. I'm going to post this. You're constantly addicted and connected to your phone or your computer. And you are over giving in your business, but wait for it. You're over giving in your business, but you're over giving without clarity. So again, the spaghetti at the wall, and I did this for a long time, and I'm actually just coming out of a 6-month period where I'm having to clean up even more energy around this and getting really clear on my divine masculine structure and how my team runs and all of this kind of stuff so that I can get out of that energy. Now, it's not as bad as it was 6+ years ago when I lived in hustle, but you go, okay, well, what does it mean if I lay down hustle? Again, the concerns are valid, because you've built a business or ran your life in a way that is from that lack. It's never enough. I got to do more. I got to do more. I got to do more. I got to do more, without the prioritization of self and spiritual care. Okay. And you probably feel overworked, exhausted, overwhelmed if you're in that space. So what happens when you start to slow down? There is a valid, I as I'm writing my book, Kill the Hustle, and as I've coached and mentored so many women one-on-one in my mastermind and Soul Up around these kind of things, there is the valid concern of, well, I can't slow down in my business because then I'm going to lose money. And that is why when we talked about it in the first video, that healing the hustle and actually taking back your power and regulating your central nervous system is a commitment and a dedication that you have to be ready for, because I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that when you start to get more intentional, get more conscious in your life and your business, your relationships, slow down, that there won't be a chunk of your income, especially if you are an entrepreneur and you are going to go through a recalibration phase, that will not dissolve. Because if you have built all of your income and all of your money on the back of this frequency of hustle and lack and scarcity, and it's never enough, and I got to do, when you lay that frequency and that energy and disintegrate those cords, there is a recalibration phase. It doesn't mean all your money goes away, but it means that there is a recalibration phase where you are coming back into alignment, actually into the higher frequencies of your truth, where abundance is infinite and you can make more money than you've ever dreamed of when you're in alignment with your higher self and you're tapped in. But there is a recalibration phase. When I started this journey 6 years ago, we had made our first million and all of the things, and we took a dip when I went on this healing journey. But I was so committed to living a life that I could be proud of and living a life that didn't kill me, that I had to be okay with that. And since then, we've had beautiful growth and evolution once I recalibrated. And so it is a commitment to slow down when it comes to your business. And it doesn't mean in the beginning, when you start to lay down the hustle, it is going to feel, this is the beautiful part, it is going to feel like you are working less, but It's really because you are prioritizing your spiritual and self-care. You're prioritizing your central nervous system. You're prioritizing getting rid of and healing the anxiety that you have lived in this frantic state. So of course, slowing down is going to feel like doing less. But I can tell you right now that I get a lot more done now than I ever did back then. I accomplish a lot more now from this state, this regulated state, without the hustle than I did back then, because I'm regulated in my central nervous system. I'm conscious and intentional. I have structure and strategy. I don't just constantly throw spaghetti at the wall. When I do something, I do it and it gets done and it makes more impact because my energy is in alignment. And I can get more done in a shorter amount of time with the intentionality and consciousness than the crazy busy work that didn't have really any direction. So there's a lot more fulfillment, a lot more confidence in my work now because I am regulated in my central nervous system, because I have healed the hustle. And so that is why a lot of this has to fall on the back of you being committed and dedicated. The women that work with me privately or in my mastermind, we talk about this a lot. We work on the somatics and the energetics and all of this beautiful stuff, because when you are a high achieving woman, and when I mean high achieving, it doesn't mean that you're making millions. It means that you are on a mission. You've got a business, you've got a vision, you've got a mission that you are here to impact the world in some way. And when we are high achieving women, we have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of creation. We want to do big things in the world. But if we are not prioritizing our central nervous system regulation, if we are not prioritizing our spiritual and self-care, if we are not prioritizing our personal transformational journey to become the best version of ourselves and to actually live happy and fulfilled and healthy, then as we discussed in a previous video, you're going to get to that last day on planet Earth and you're going to not have regrets that you didn't make another million or make another 10,000 that month or another 1,000 or had 5 more clients or ran 5 more classes or made that one extra story on Instagram or had 10,000 more followers. You're going to regret not taking care of yourself. You're going to regret not prioritizing yourself in spiritual care. You're going to regret not spending more time, quality time with your family or your kids or your spouse or your friends. You're going to regret not nurturing this human experience and having joy and livelihood. So the art of slowing down takes dedication. The beauty of healing the hustle takes a commitment to this, because it will affect your relationships. It will affect your life. It will affect how you be. It will affect your business, but in the most beautiful, magical, transformative ways. But it takes you being committed to it, right? Let me check some comments before we dive into the art of slowing down. I'm going to share with y'all some of my favorite practices and why this is so important. Again, this is going to be pretty short and sweet. Hello, hello. Yeah, the people pleasing. That's a huge thing when it comes to the hustle energy, because we are always wanting to do everything for everyone else. We want to overgive because our validation in ourselves of how worthy or lovable we are comes from the external world. So the more that we can give the external world what we think it wants from us or who we should be, then we feel worthy and loved. But at the end of the day, do you really? Probably not. You probably feel exhausted. So that's something that we lay down when we heal the hustle. Yeah, that's what I had to break free of last year. And yes, it created imbalance between me and my partner. Yeah, and then it can come back into unison. Calm CNS or nothing for me now. Same, Patsy. Just so guilty of not prioritizing my central nervous system, learning and changing that now. So grateful for that growth. Yes, this is why with my clients, whether in my one-on-one or within my mastermind or within Soul Up, we do a lot of somatic practices. And you're constantly being gifted with energy healing, but we do a lot of somatic practices so that you can heal from the inside out, especially on this journey, because your body is encoded with the trauma of the dysregulation, the trauma of everything you've experienced until you heal it. But the trauma And if you're used to functioning up here, then this actually feels more comfortable to you than just being. How many of you prioritize slowing down, meditation, breath work, somatic work, energy work, just moving slowly? You know, part of the hustle and part of the art of slowing down is some of the most simple things. I've shared this before, but before I healed the hustle, I used to run from like a little light jog in my house from laundry to dishes. And I was like, why am I doing that? It's because my central nervous system baseline was this. And that's what I was used to. Actually, slowing down was the more uncomfortable pace for me because my central nervous system wasn't used to the regulated state. Now it is through this work and through slowing down, right? And so the first piece I want to share before I share one of my main practices that I encourage y'all to implement as often and every day as possible is literally watching how you work and how you live your life. The art of slowing down can be so simple, especially in the beginning when you first go on this journey. Are you taking real deep breaths, or are you up here? Are you holding your breath? Or are you actually giving your physiological, biological body what it needs in the way of oxygen? I want you to just take a few deep breaths if you're watching this. In through the nose, expand the belly. Nobody needs a six-pack when they're taking big, deep breaths, okay? And then loose jaw, loose tongue in your mouth, and then exhale softly out the mouth. And on the exhale, your stomach softens. Just reconnecting with your breath is one of the biggest pieces of starting to slow down. Watching how fast you are walking from one place to the next, and see if you can step back a little bit and turn the dial down a little bit on the speed and focus on your breath. When you start to feel that twinge in your chest because you're overworked and you're over whatever, what if you practice intentionally breathing in your days as a start to the art of slowing down? Okay. Now I want to teach you, and this will be probably the last thing that I talk about because we're going to keep this short and sweet. I want to teach you one of my best and favorite practices that I've taught for years and years and years and years around slowing down, especially in the beginning of your journey of laying down the frantic hustle energy, or when you have seasons where you feel like it's come back a little bit and you're like, okay, I'm noticing some habits here, some patterns here. And I call these MTMs, mindful transition meditations. This is for the woman that says she doesn't have time to meditate, that she doesn't know how to meditate, that she wants to slow down so bad. She wants to get this twinge out of her heart. She wants to feel sane in her days, and she doesn't feel that she has the time. Okay? So these mindful transition meditations, if committed to, I always suggest when you start these to commit to at least 10 days in a row. Now, again, this takes intentionality because the ego and the small self and the programs running that have kept us in hustle, we will wake up in the morning and go nowhere because we'll forget to do these. So set yourself a reminder every morning. Okay, I'm going to do my MTMs today. Now, what do MTMs look like? This is a way for you to slow down, to create pockets of time throughout your entire day So at the end of the day, you feel regulated, you are continuing to maintain a high vibration, and you are reducing stress and coming into the soma every chance you get. And alchemizing low frequencies, anxiety, all of that. So how this looks is, when you get up in the morning and you do a task, you brush your teeth, you make your coffee, whatever it is that you do first. After each task in your day, you stop and you breathe those deep methodical breaths for 30 to 90 seconds. Calling all of your power. You can ask your guides, you can just say, I call all my power back to me now. 30 to 90 seconds. You answer emails for work. After you answer your emails, before you get up to do something else, before you get on client calls, before you make a post, you go to the grocery store. Y'all heard me talk about this if you've been in my world. You drive to the grocery store. Maybe hit a little traffic. Maybe have somebody honk at you. Something. Before you go into the grocery store, calling all my power back to me. You go into the grocery store. You shop. You come back out before you drive off to go home. You drive home, you get into your garage before you go in to see your family, and so on and so on and so on. If you don't have 30 seconds of time in between these pockets, then something is not in alignment in your life. I can guarantee it. And I can guarantee that if you say you don't have those 30 seconds of pocket, which could end up, depending on how many tasks you do, being 30 to 60 minutes of coming home to yourself all day. You will get to the end of your day feeling more accomplished, more rested, less stressed, more peace, more joy, because you were continually calling back your power instead of, I'm going to answer some emails, I'm going to get on some calls, I'm going to go to the grocery store, I'm going to get in, I'm going to come out, oh, and then you come in and you snap at your kids because you haven't called back your power and you haven't taken the time just to be 30 seconds in every pocket, and then you're and they snap at your kids and you don't know why, and it's just this vicious cycle. That's the energy of not slowing down. And this is a tool for you to practice incorporating the intentionality, higher consciousness of slowing down in a very minimal way that creates a massive impact. So if you decide to do this, I suggest you do it for 10 days. You can pop into this group and let us know how it's going. This is something that I've taught for years and I've done for years. And I have yet to have a client or a soul up woman or anyone that I've suggested this to not feel relief from this practice. But it takes dedication. It takes consciousness. It takes choosing the path. Okay? We have got a whole lot more coming in this group. Always, always, always. So stay tuned. And thank you so much for tuning in for this live. Before you jump off, before you exit and get up to do something else, start practicing your MTMs. Let me know how they go. And I'm sending you so much love. And just have fun with it. Have fun with coming back home to yourself. Enjoy the ride. Sending you lots of love.